In every parent's journey, there's a common feeling that often creeps in: mom guilt. It's a universal sensation, a twinge of self-doubt, a nagging whisper that questions whether we're doing enough, doing it right, or just doing too much. It's a feeling that transcends cultures, societies, and yes, even faiths. Mom guilt isn't exclusive to Christian mothers, but today we're focusing on Christian parenting and the unique challenges it presents. Many Christian moms find themselves wrestling with this guilt, feeling torn between the demands of modern life and the tenets of their faith. But what if we told you that there's a way to overcome mom guilt? A way that doesn't involve striving for impossible perfection, but rather embracing our imperfections through faith and spirituality. As we journey together today, we'll explore how some Christian parents have successfully navigated this path, overcoming mom guilt through their faith. So, buckle up and let's delve into this exciting journey of self-discovery and spiritual growth. Meet Jane, a Christian mother of two, who found herself overwhelmed with mom guilt. Jane's journey began when she first held her twins, Sarah and John. She had envisioned herself to be the perfect Christian mother, always patient, always present, always nurturing. But life, as it so often does, had other plans. Sleepless nights, endless chores, and the demands of work left her feeling drained and, at times, irritable. She felt guilty for not living up to the image of motherhood she held in her heart. In her darkest moments, Jane felt like she was failing her children and her faith. She was burdened with guilt and feelings of inadequacy. She questioned if she was good enough, if she was doing enough. But Jane found solace in prayer. She poured out her heart to God, her fears, her guilt, her feelings of inadequacy. She sought comfort in Scripture, finding strength in verses such as Proverbs 31:25. She is clothed with strength and dignity. She can laugh at the days to come. Jane also reached out to her faith community. She discovered that she wasn't alone in her feelings of mom guilt. Her fellow Christian mothers shared their own stories, their own battles with guilt and inadequacy. They encouraged her, prayed with her, and reminded her of God's grace. Slowly, Jane learned to give herself grace. She began to trust in God's plan, understanding that even in her imperfections, she was the mother Sarah and John needed. Jane's story is a testament to the power of faith and community in overcoming mom guilt. The Bible, too, provides solace and guidance. Let's look at the story of Hannah. In the pages of the Old Testament, we find Hannah, a woman of profound faith and resilience. Hannah was married to Elkanah, a man who loved her dearly, but her heart was heavy with sorrow and guilt. Why? Because Hannah was childless. In a time and culture where motherhood was often seen as a woman's crowning achievement, this was a source of great distress for her. Hannah's story is one of heartbreak and longing, but also of hope and redemption. She felt the sting of her barrenness deeply, and the taunts of Peninnah, Elkanah's other wife, only added salt to the wound. But Hannah didn't let her circumstances define her. Instead, she turned to God in prayer, pouring out her heart with raw honesty. She didn't merely ask for a child. No, Hannah made a vow to God. She promised that if he gave her a son, she would dedicate him to God's service. Hannah's plea was not merely for her personal fulfillment, but for the glory of God. This was a bold prayer, a prayer of faith, and God heard Hannah. In his perfect timing, he blessed her with a son. She named him Samuel, which means God has heard. True to her vow, once Samuel was weaned, she took him to the temple and left him there to serve God. Hannah's story is a powerful testament to the power of persistent prayer and unwavering faith. Despite her guilt and sorrow, she chose to trust in God's promises, and he honored her faith. Hannah's journey wasn't easy. It was marked with tears, frustration, and a heavy heart. But through it all, Hannah leaned into her faith, and it was her faith that saw her through. Her story is a reminder that even in the midst of our guilt and sorrow, we can turn to God in prayer. And when we do, we find that he is faithful. Hannah's story serves as a beacon of hope for Christian mothers dealing with mom guilt. Overcoming mom guilt is not a one-time event, but a journey. Here are some strategies that can help. First off, prayer. It's in those quiet moments of connection with God that we often find clarity and peace. Like Hannah, pouring out your heart to God can bring comfort and guidance. Next, dive deep into scriptures. The Bible is filled with stories of imperfect people who God used to do great things. Reflect on these stories, learn from them, and remember that God doesn't expect perfection from us. He cherishes us, flaws and all. Thirdly, seek support from your faith community. Just as Jane found solace and advice from her church group, you too can lean on your Christian family. They can provide perspective, encouragement, and practical help. Then don't forget about self-care. Yes, your children need you, but they need a healthy, happy you. So take time to rest, refuel, and recharge. Finally, practice self-compassion. It's so easy to extend grace to others, yet so hard to do the same for ourselves. Remember, you're human. You're allowed to make mistakes. The key is to learn from them and keep growing. Remember, you are not alone on this journey. Reach out, lean on your faith, and give yourself the grace you would extend to others. In conclusion, overcoming mom guilt is about embracing the beauty of imperfect parenting. You see, perfection is not the goal in Christian parenting. Rather, the focus should be on raising children who are kind, compassionate, and have a strong faith. It's not about having the cleanest house, the most well-behaved children, or the most accomplished resume. Instead, it's about nurturing a home filled with love, understanding, and God's grace. Remember, your journey in parenting is not meant to be a solo expedition. Lean on your faith, your community, and God's infinite wisdom. We are all part of a larger community, and it's in this community that we find strength, guidance, and reassurance. So, dear parents, let go of the pursuit of perfection. Embrace the beauty of your perfectly imperfect journey. You are enough just as you are. Trust in God's plan, extend grace to yourself, and know that you are doing the best you can.